All right, and one, too, that we haven't really touched on that I wanted to talk about a little bit was the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, even though he tested positive for marijuana at the Combine, I really think Randy Gregory is a steal here in this draft. Their line's at 9.5, though, and I'm not sure they're going to get 10 wins this season. I mean, their preseason looks pretty nice, but then they've got to hit teams like New England Patriots. They've got the Seattle Seahawks. Miami Dolphins might be a problem. The Redskins, the Packers. Redskins again. Do you guys think they'll be able to pull off 10 wins this season?
That offensive line is good, but yeah, I don't think 10 wins is. I mean, I know I made a pretty bold prediction on them to go to the NFC title this year. I'm not going to walk back on that just yet, but I do think that. I mean, it's interesting with this team because you know that their offensive line's good. You know that Tony Romo is going to do things. But if it all comes down to whether or not their defense is going to play like it did last year. If that's the case, 10 wins, yeah, sure, why not? Especially at the value you're getting at, like plus 120 or something like that, I think. Or yeah. So I mean, yeah, 10 wins is a pretty good bet for this team. But that defense doesn't show up. They're not going to have Greg Hardy for the first 10 games. This is a team that is one of the bigger wild cards, I actually think, in the entire 32 teams. What do you guys think of that? Do you think they have probably a pretty low floor and a pretty high ceiling? I think is how I look at the Dallas Cowboys this year. You really
I would agree with that. I would agree with that completely. Yeah, I think that number of 9.5 juice to the under is pretty accurate. And like you said, it's a little bit hard to get a read on it. Probably game by game, they might have betting value one way or another, but I agree with Jordan. Inconsistency is what I would expect. Higher than normal inconsistency.
I think this is a bad team, to be honest. I think that one of the things that got overlooked with the Cowboys is that they didn't draft a running back, and they're going into the season with Darren McFadden as their lead runner, and I think that to me is a big concern because remember, the Cowboys, why that defense was so good last year was because DeMarco Murray was able to pound the ball. They were able to control the ball and keep their defense on the sidelines. Well, now you got Run DMC, and unfortunately for him and the underwear thief Joseph Randall, those guys are severe downgrades. And if they can't run the ball, even though they have a great offensive line, if they can't run the ball, everything goes downhill from there. And I was disappointed that they didn't get anybody in any round who at least has some upside. If Darren McFadden is what he looked like in Oakland last year, my word, help the Cowboys.